when it comes to discipline, I believe in exactly how I was raised and how my mama was raised, and spare the rod, spoil the child. I believe if you mess up bad enough, you're supposed to get messed up too. Like I don't think it's enough hands in this room to count how many times I've got a whipping in a month.
We got the magic happening. Girl, the feeling is great and I'm loving it. Hey, we got the magic happening. Everything that we need, everything that we beg, girl, the magic's happening. And the feeling is great and this feeling is great, girl, the magic happening. It's happening, yeah.
I feel like Kwani is the primary decision maker more than me because, for one, like she said earlier before, like she's more. I'm very hands on, but she's the mother. You know what I mean? So it's like even if I take dude to the doctor, I don't be knowing nothing. That's crazy. They be like, I just know he ain't allergic to nothing. They be like, what do you do? I be like, I call her. I mean, what I'm supposed to say to the people? I don't know. I just send them back there by himself, and then
they just did that. The
be
dermatologist called me on speakerphone.
Yeah, I don't be knowing because I be like, she know everything. You know, mamas know everything. Like, so I don't even want to know like if it got to be something real serious. Like that's serious, but I know she know everything. She ain't told me nothing. But even with just everything, like she's better at making decisions when it come to him. You know what I mean? And I'm fine with that. But it's not like to a point where it's like she make the decisions, I don't have say so. I have 100% say so. But most of the time I be like, you already know, you figured it out. Like as long as ain't nothing wrong, just let me know when something wrong. That's all. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then even like with just like financially, like taking care of him and stuff like that. It's obviously it's 50-50 now. It was 50-50, but then it was like in the beginning when I started to chase my dreams, it went to a point where like she was like 100%. I was always there, but it went to a point where she was the financial like holder, right? You know what I mean? Like she was doing everything. You know what I mean? But the reason I respected it so much because she never made me feel like less of a man. Like, you know what I mean? She never tried to down me. Even if she felt like certain ways or something, I'm sure I probably made her mad. It probably was a big burden on her at times when she felt it, but she's never made me feel like less of a man and made me feel like you need to do more, this and this and that. You know what I mean? Because it's like I'm assuming that she started understanding like what I was going through and what I was chasing and the sacrifices that I had to make to start becoming who I am. You know what I mean? But even now, to this day, everything is 100%. Like anytime she called me for anything for my son, you know what I mean? If she called me asking for anything, like she don't ask me for, you know what I mean? But if she do, she know that she can have it. But it's vice versa. You know what I mean? Like her. If he down there with me, it don't matter. If I call her Kwani for anything, whatever, like with our son or me, like we just have a friendship like that, like with us and with our son. But she's doing a good job though. She's doing an amazing job, you know. But now like it's like a 50-50 thing now. 60-50. I gotta take 10 extra percent because most of the time when he comes to her, she like, ask your dad.
Sure do.
Ask your dad. So I ain't gonna take
sure
all.
Do.
I can't say 50-50. I gotta take me an extra 10%.
You could shoot 70 if I can. If I could get away with it, you sure do.
That, like, right, because that's not that she can't do it. It's just like that's a lot of mamas they do that. Ask your dad. Ask your dad. Go to your dad. Ask your dad. You know what I mean? She called him. She always get them random phone calls. Well, we finna go to outlets. You need to send Makai $100. I'm like, dang. Y'all, it ain't even planned like you told me yesterday. Next weekend we going. They just do random calls. $100. Makai, $75. Me to death.
You do it.
I'm like, what's this little number that you keep asking for $75 for? Like
he feel like 70. You know, it sound better than the hundreds.
Yeah, Makai like, Dad, can I have $75? And 3 days later, Dad, can I have $75? I'm like, well, you ain't finna keep $75 me, man. You better off just asking $500 at one time or something and leave me alone. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I keep sending it to her, and then she be like, Myra, I need. She don't even want it. She just asks, hey, send me $50 for what?
I'm going to Target.
I'm looking at something. I'm going to Target. I'm like, you ain't got no money? Yeah. So what you want my money for? I said, I asked her stuff like, do you want it or you need it? She'd be like, both. And I'd be like, man, if you don't get off my phone.
So as far as big decision making, it depends. We really haven't had to do any like major decision making. As far as like her health and like anything medical, I take care of that part because I have like a long history in the medical field. So I know a lot as far as like medications, stuff like that, because that was what I previously did. So I take care of that part. I'm also like the one that wants to go to all of the appointments. I think I've only had him go to maybe like 1 or 2 appointments without me. And I'm always like, no, you need to call me or FaceTime me because I don't want secondhand information. I have questions and I want to hear the answer. I don't want to hear the answer from you because she said it's nothing. That's not what I want to hear. Like, I want to hear specifically what the doctor said. So I tend to do that part because I want to know what's going on. And then that way, I can tell them like, okay, she's on this medication, you do this, at this time, that time. I give them the direction, well, both of them, because I know Kelly will follow the directions better and quicker than he would. So I will still include him on the message just so they both can see it. But I tend to talk to Kelly more about it. Like, can you just make sure that, she gets it, at this time or that time. So I take care of that part because I want to make sure that everything goes the way that it needs to go.
So as far as planning holidays and birthdays and things like that, in regards to Makai, we just kind of plan. It's really now that because he's at that age, he's 14. We just let him decide if he want to be with his dad, be with his dad. If he want to be at home, be at home. If he want to split. For like graduation, Myron came up here, and it's a little different too because I'm not dating. And I don't know if he's dating or not.
I'm not dating. I'm chasing you. That's what I'm doing. I'm chasing you. I want Kwani. I'm telling y'all right now.
Anyway.
So she off the market.
No, I'm not.
Yes, she is. Well,
No, I'm not.
But y'all can kill her with it. I'm gonna pop up with
Who? Beyonce.
Ooh, that'll hurt your feelings, boy.
Yeah, them the only two. So
I'm gonna get Lil London. Then I'm finna work hard. Nipsey Hussle was my age, so hey, I know she could mess with me.
But no, he's at that age where we just let him decide. I mean, but of course for like the big things for like his birthdays, I would love for him to be with me. But he's at the age now where he's not with either one of us for his birthday. I want to be with my friends or whatever. But for like graduation, we all rode together. Me, Myron, and the kids, like the big stuff, like I said, because I'm not dating, it ain't like, okay, I gotta hop in the car with my man and then like we go. So like, I don't have a problem. Like I know people like they see us at the basketball games. We sometimes go together or we're sitting by each other if we do get there and they just looking like a lot of people just don't understand it, but like that's the common denominator is Makai. That's what we there for. If you see us at the game, we're there for our son. We can sit by each other.
You're working on us.
No, we are not. So yeah, no, we just it's however he want to do it. Now, of course, if he's been with him for Thanksgiving, Christmas, you're not about to spend New Year's and Easter with him. So we try to be fair, but a lot of times if he's in town, I automatically just let him go with his dad because his dad does not live here. But yeah, we just let him decide. It's not a big deal. I'm with him 24/7. So
most of the time he want to be with me anyway. He do. It ain't not as enough.
Well, duh, you his dad.
He want to be with me unless Kwani bribe him. Like, we gonna go to the movies tomorrow or something. Now he don't want to come home. I'm like, what your mama say she's taking y'all? Because I know that's when he say he don't want to come with me. Then I find out like, oh, they going to do something fun tomorrow. But if they ain't doing nothing, that boy like.
Yeah, he will not.
He be like,
If his daddy is in town, he is with his dad. He'll call me, maybe. He'll text me, maybe. But yeah, no, when his dad is in town, he is with his dad.
Coming into this situation was super different for me, and I didn't know how to handle it. So I would vent to Chris like, hey, if Grace is having a party for Madison, we can have our own, party here. And like he had to explain to me like, Kelly, this is not how we do things. Like, no, we're gonna have one party all together. And I'd be like, well, why do we have to do that? Like, I don't understand. Like, if you have time with Madison, why can't we have our own, party for her? And then Grace can do her own thing for her so she can have two parties. And she'll know that it's not this, situation. But he had to sit me down and explain to me, like, the proper way to do things because I didn't know. Like, I'm like, no, I don't want to do it that way, but it's not my decision, of course. But he had to really sit me down and tell me like this is how it goes, and I want to be a part of my daughter's life on her birthday, and he had to explain why. And I really didn't get it at first, but now I do. So he laughing because it was really a thing. I was serious about it, and I even had to talk to a couple of my friends. Like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. So like, and never had a problem with Grace, but I just thought that if we was gonna be co-parenting and doing different things, that we would have separate things instead of all together. But now I understand, and now I'm comfortable with doing everything together and making everything about Madison. They have always done that, made everything about Madison, and that is the focus. But it was just things of me being coming into this that I wasn't familiar with, and I didn't understand at all. So that was one of the things, birthday parties. I'm like, he like, oh, we going to Legoland. You can't go, but I'm still going. Me and Grace going to Chicago. I'm like, what? Like, no, you. What do you mean? You going to Chicago with Grace to Legoland? Like, I gotta be with my daughter and my brother. What? You can just get her tomorrow. Like, no, I was not going. Like, no.
I would have been offended if y'all would have had a second party for my baby. I'm like, what is
And
a second
see,
party?
I wasn't looking at it that way. Yeah. I was looking at it in a different light. It was never intended to offend you. Yeah. But when he actually explained it to me and sat me down and like, this is how it's gonna be, and this is why, then I was like, okay, that makes sense. Like, okay. So, and then I was able to be 100% honest with myself and comfortable with it. Because at first I wasn't. Yeah. So.
That was with that, and explanation part of that was just like with any holiday, your child, you celebrate them on their birthday. Like her birthday is the 19th, the 18th not special. The 20th is not special. It's just another day. But the significance in the day when it comes to birthdays, and like, you know, me not having my biological father in my life for my birthday, so I've had this in my head like, hey, I don't care what it is, if it's God willing and I'm able, I will be there. And I think it was more of the image, like people see this image like I think it kept going back. I'm like, love, you thinking about the image of what you keep saying grace first. Grace is a part of it, but it's Madison Day. It's not Grace. You going to Chicago with Grace? You kept saying it. I'm like, I'm going to Chicago to Legoland for Madison. Like, and that's what it is. And so like, and it lingered for a while, but and it was like, and I kept telling, I understand what you're saying and I get your feelings, but the thing is, I respect your feelings, but this is not about you. It's like, this is part of that. To me, we could have one great gigantic party versus having two parties. Mm-hmm. And then for me, my reason for having one party is I'm not from here. Grace's friends have kids, so I got to go invite her friends to kids to another part. Like, her Madison social circle is evolved around Grace friends and their kids. So we have a party with Madison. It's gonna be me, you, Madison, and
my friends,
her friends, kids. You know what I mean? So like, that was kind of a struggle, and it really just got resolved not too long ago. Like, far as the clarity of it, because like I said, like at the end of the day, this is something that has to work. Not like it's going. No, this has to work. And so, with the birthday, just in general, it was like, I'm like, okay, this is what it is.
Through our co-parenting stage, it was always like, you know, how every pretty much relationship is. You know, dad is the corrector, mom is the protector. So it's like, you know, your mom is going to be the one that's going to make sure, hey, I'm gonna talk to you. I'm going to make sure you do everything right. But dad is like, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to reinforce some stuff, you know. So whenever it was like a problem, you know, if little Eric cutting up at daycare or, he whining, he with his mama, he just doing so much. His mom would always call me. I always kept that line open, because it's like, I know how my child is, my son, he tries other people, you know what I'm saying? So I always tell him, like, you can try everybody else and he can woo everybody with his sweetness. He a cute little kid, so he can make his way to your heart, and I promise you, you will be yelling at him, and in the midst of yelling at him, you will just stop yelling, and now you're crying with him. So it's like, I had to always remain like, dad. So when he sees me, he knows like, if your mama tell you was on punishment, don't come over here and ask me, can you know what I'm saying, can you get on the tablet or could you get on your phone? Nah, his phone is out. But it was always like, I would always tell his mom though, like just always remember like you still his mom. You still got to correct him because I don't want it to be, if he hasn't seen me since Friday and he got in trouble on Friday and now it's Monday he coming to see me and now he in trouble with Pops. I don't want it to always be that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want it to always be every time I see my dad, I got to get my correction from the whole week that I was just with my mama. Like, no, I want it to be like, hey, no, he gonna learn to respect you too. He gonna learn to respect your voice. He gonna learn to respect your demands. You know what I'm saying? So we never like our kids really listen to us. So it was never really a problem when it came down to whoopings because like we never really whoop our kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, so far I'm gonna say that, but so far they still kids. So they don't really do things to like make me like, oh, I'm gonna go grab a belt, I'm gonna beat your tail. Like it's not stuff like that. Like we don't. You know what I'm saying? It's just always that correction of, oh, when they hear my voice, I got a deeper voice, so my beard, you know what I'm saying? Just this small things, just like, oh, that's my dad. Like, I'm scared of him. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tighten up when he come around, and I always wanted it to be like, well, I'm only doing this, and I'm gonna do this in front of your mama. So the simple fact that you gonna respect her the same way you gonna respect me. Like, we love y'all. Y'all can get whatever y'all want. We spoil y'all, but when it's time for correction, always remember, it's not that this is coming from a part I'm angry with you or I'm so salty with my son right now. This is coming from I love you, and if you do this again, then it's gonna have to go a little bit further. You know what I'm saying? And every time this happens, it goes further. But like I said, my kids be getting it. You know what I'm saying? Especially with me, because it's just I'm Pops. They know I'm not gonna whoop them, but they know I mean no harm. You know what I'm saying? It's just always love.
Yeah, and he's been really consistent with that. Like even now in our current marriage, it's the same thing he's saying now than it was in our first marriage and in our separation. Like he's been consistent on that and always. So like when we came in and he was meeting Nyla, she began to express, that was her daddy, or that she wanted him to be her dad. I'm like, yeah, like little pops and stuff, whoopings, like I didn't mind. That was a talk that me and him had because she didn't have that from an actual dad. So if you're gonna be dad, then yes, that's fine with me. Now, little Eric, I didn't know if his then girlfriend needed to even do that because this is a woman that's not even your mom. And so she not even in, our blood, and you gonna disrespect her like that? Like he really wasn't playing that. So I don't even think she had to get to that point with him because he runs a tight ship with love. And it's like that balance of discipline. Like we know who can put hands on our kids and who can't. And we try not to do that. So we're not gonna let somebody else do it. So it's the balance. Like he enforces, and then I'm just kind of like now let's talk this out.
When it comes to discipline, I believe in exactly how I was raised and how my mama was raised, and spare the rod, spoil the child. I believe you mess up bad enough, you're supposed to get messed up too. Like I don't think it's enough hands in this room to count how many times I've got a whipping in a month, like on occasion. But Madison is very, very smart, like extremely smart, and she's like a fox at times. She's very sly. So like those little crocodile tears and those little, oh, I'm sorry for what I did. I don't want to hear none of that because you know what you did. Like it takes a lot for me to actually whoop her. Like I'm kind of more like I can raise my voice and it really hurt her feelings. And Kelly may raise her voice and it might hurt her feelings. Like she real tenderhearted too. So like she do be sorry for real, but like she do. I don't know what she do at Grace House to make her mad, but she do like the randomest stuff. Like I gave her a whooping because she asked me for breakfast. I had like a McGriddle or something. I'm like, hey, it's a small pancake, and she begged me for it. I'm like, okay, cool. So I cut it up. She said, oh, it's sweet. She tasted it. Oh, it's a pancake, right? So I leave. She ate the side, so like, I'm like, oh man, she had a little rain up. I'm like, I'm gonna get a humidifier going. So I opened up the humidifier, and there was the McGriddle, and it just really, I was like, what? I was like, oh yeah, come on, buddy. She looked at me, she already knew what time, like, for stuff like that, like, come on, man. And it was like, this had been there for like a week or two. It was super hard. Like, I'm like, oh, yeah. You gotta, like, stuff like, that's extreme to me.
Yeah.
But like, like, I was like, come on, fam. But like she said, I'm kind of soft too, but like, she was like, don't nobody supposed to tell their child. No, my mom used to tell me what was about to happen to me, and it hurt the same. Like, it didn't hurt no less by them saying what they was about to do. But I do feel like my mom used to explain to us what we did, so we know, like, this is the reason. Like, I don't want to just, give you a whipping or discipline you for something, and you don't know what you did. So that's, like, my take on that. But, no, I don't think we ever just kind of talked about that. I think it just kind of came natural. But, like, something, like, big to where, like, she might have disrespected Grace, like, extremely bad, and now she with us, like, that punishment will roll over just like minutes. Like, she gonna be on punishment. Would you say 3 months? Well, it's 3 months on our end too. It might be a little lighter 3 months, but it's gonna be, you gonna be on punishment for 3 months. She said no phone. Well, you can't get no phone. You might watch TV or something like that, but because if we don't stay on that same page, then it gonna be, she gonna feel like, well, I could do this over here
Get away with
and get away. You know what I mean? Oh, well, I'm just stay with my dad for 2 weeks until this. Nah, well, you go back, you're gonna be on punishment for 2 more weeks because you want, you know what I mean? So, we kind of on the same page with that. I know I did get a question about, like, how did I feel if Kelly ever had to whoop her? And I don't think she will. Like, she done popped on the hand or something like that. But when it comes to, like, when she feel like she needs a whooping, she'll tell me. And I'm like, all right, come on, gotta mess you up, But that ain't happened yet. So I think just from that standpoint, I think we all on the same page when it comes to discipline and just anything involved around punishment or something like that.
Because Myron had a good job and was working, they set us up a court date. So me not knowing anything about the system, I'm like, I'm just not gonna show up. If I don't show up, they're not gonna put him on there or whatever. So we just didn't show up, and they slapped him with some fat child support. And his stepmom was like, why wouldn't you put him on child support? She was like, just like you feel like you know him, and just like I feel like I know my son. She was like, who's to say tomorrow he won't wake up and be like, I don't want to be a dad no more.
We got the magic happening. Girl, the feeling is great and I'm loving it. Hey, we got the magic.